All right, so place your tennis ball on the ground underneath one foot. So think the ball toe mound of the foot, and we're just gonna keep the heel on the ground, trap that ball underneath, put a little pressure on right away. Just lean in, let your foot soften over the ball, and then lift off. And then do that again. Lean in, just let your foot soften over the ball. Awesome, and then lift off. One more just like that. Lean in, let your foot soften over the ball. And then lean off slightly, but we still want to keep a light bit of pressure on, and then start to swish your foot side to side. Great, one more little swish side to side, and then we're gonna move it up. So think arch of the foot or center of the foot. Lean in just a little bit, soften the top of your foot, and then lift off. Lean in and soften, and lift off. Nice, lean in and soften. And then lift off slightly, but keep that ball trapped under the foot, and then swish it side to side. Cool, one more little swish side to side, and then we're gonna take the toe and the ball of the foot onto the ground and then trap the ball underneath your heel. Lean in, put a little pressure on, and lift off. Lean in, put a little pressure on, and lift off. Lean in, put a little pressure on, and then lift off just slightly. This is gonna be a shorter range of motion. So as you swish your heel side to side, just try to maintain that trap of the ball underneath your foot. I find that the tennis ball, especially on a wood floor, just slips right out underneath me. So I do like to do it on my mat, but I have other grippy balls that I can do on any surface. So just know that the tennis balls can tend to be a little slippy. Okay, now we're gonna take it the length of the foot. So think big toe line, second toe, third toe. So we're just gonna keep most of the weight on your standing leg to start, just to kind of roll through the bottom of the foot. And then once you feel like you've got that sensation, then you're gonna take your body weight with you. So you're gonna start to move your body weight as you roll through the foot. Think big toe line, second toe line, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. Nice. Take one more time through the bottom of the foot with body weight or without, totally up to you. And then when you're ready, we're gonna set that foot down. So both feet on the ground, just leave your ball there. Take a nice big breath, reach up and overhead, bend your knees a little bit. Exhale, reach towards your feet. And then just see if you can kind of notice your, whatever foot you were rolling, notice that foot, notice the back chain of that side of your body. Take a nice big breath. Come up nice and slow, bend your knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, and now we're gonna take it over to the other foot. So heel on the ground, underneath the ball toe mound of the foot, lean in, put a little pressure on, and then release. Lean in, soften the top of your foot, and release. Lean in, soften the top of your foot. Lift off slightly, keep your heel on the ground, and swish your foot side to side. Nice, and then when you're ready, move it on up to the middle of the foot or to the arch. Lean in, soften the top of your foot, and release. Lean in, soften the top of your foot, and release. Awesome. Lean in, soften the top of your foot, and then lean off just a little bit. Keep that ball trapped and swish your foot side to side. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to switch. So now toe and the ball of the foot are on the ground. Trap that ball under your heel. Lean in, put a little pressure on, and then release. Lean in and release. Lean in, lean off slightly, and then swish your heel side to side. And this is going to be just a smaller range of motion. Awesome. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to bring it into the length of the foot. So we're working big toe line, second toe, third toe, but to start, keep most of your weight in your standing leg. One more time through with most of the weight in your standing leg. And then if you're feeling good about it, start to add a little body weight. So as you roll through the bottom of the foot, let your body weight come with you a little bit. Bonus points if you have to chase your ball down. You get a little extra cardio. One more time through the line of the foot. Nice. And then set that foot down. So both feet on the ground. Take a nice big breath, reach up and overhead, a little micro bend to the knees, a little hinge from your waist, fold down towards the ground. Take a nice deep breath in. Notice the back of your body. Slow breath out. Beautiful. And then we're going to come down into a tabletop position. So slow and controlled, lower yourself down onto all fours. Take that ball underneath the right hand. And then we're just going to draw some circles, circling around the palm, go in one direction. Circle around the palm, go the other way. Nice. And then we're going to do the finger splits. So index middle finger on the ball, do the splits. And then release, middle finger, ring finger, do the splits on the ball. And release, ring finger, pinky finger, do the splits on the ball. And release. And now take it into that webby point between the thumb and the index finger, and you'll put as much pressure on as feels good. Take a nice big breath. Release, come back to the palm, just take a couple of gentle circles just to kind of soothe that out. And then when you're ready, we're going to pass that ball over to the other side. So underneath the left hand, draw some circles in one direction. Draw some circles the other way. Wonderful. Index finger, middle finger on the ball, do the splits. And release. Middle finger, ring finger on the ball, do the splits. And release. Ring finger, pinky finger on the ball, do the splits. And release. Nice. And now take it to that webby part of the thumb and then put as much pressure on as you can stand. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift off. And now we're going to take it down onto our belly. So just one ball for the front side of the body. So as you come down onto your belly, take a second, wiggle everything out. And then we're going to start right in that belly position. So find that bony protrusion of your hip point, walk in about 2 inches to that soft texture of the belly. So that's where we're going to place the ball, in that soft texture. So once you've found it, roll onto your belly and then take a second to kind of squiggle your butt around, find that good soft place where the ball can kind of hang and hug into that little groove, and then see if you can just let your forehead rest. Maybe it rests on your hands, maybe it rests on the floor, but just take a second, let everything chill out. Take one more breath here, nothing to do except for it to breathe. Cool, and then when you're ready, so if the ball is underneath the right side, you're gonna bend your right knee, or if it's underneath your left, you're gonna bend your left knee. So whatever side you're working on, you're gonna bend that knee, and then just a gentle swish of the heel side to side. Once you've got that movement down, see if you can just lower your head again. Let your head rest wherever it was resting. Beautiful. One more little swish of that heel side to side. Relax your foot back down to the ground. Take a nice big breath, really big breath. Fill your lungs up. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift up just a little bit so we can move that ball out from underneath that side and then place it over on the other side. So you're going to locate the hip point, walk in about 2 inches into that soft texture. And then once you feel like you've found your way there, just come down onto your belly and then give your butt a little wiggle. So you want to make sure that it's in that nice groove. It should feel comfortable. And then as you start to relax and breathe, then you might feel a little bit of a sensation. So see if you can soften around the ball, let your forehead relax. And then just see if you can find some nice deep breaths here. Fill your lungs up. One more breath. And you might be happy staying in that softer position, but if it feels good, now you're going to bend that left knee or whichever side you're working on and swish your heel a little side to side. Beautiful. One more little swish of the heel side to side, and then float your toe back down to the ground. Take one more nice big giant breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, lift up or roll off of that hip just a little bit. We're going to stay belly down for the thighs. So now we're going to take that ball back over to the right side. You're going to place it in the middle of your quadricep muscle. So we're going to place it dead set in the middle of the thigh. And you're going to feel a little bit of a groove there. So see if you can find that groove of the muscles. Let the ball find its place there. And then once you feel like you found it, just for a second, let the muscle tissue soften. It can be a little intense to start. So take a nice big breath. Great. And then once you feel like you're there, if you found a little groove and the muscle can soften around the ball, now we're going to take a few bends and straightens of the legs. Take your time, go nice and slow and mindful. It does not need to be a fast maneuver. And then the whole time you're working here, see if you can just encourage that softening of the muscle tissue. So there's like a little bit of effort because you got to use those muscles to move the leg, but how soft and relaxed can you keep your thigh muscles as you move that heel up and down? Beautiful. One more up and down. And then when you're ready, roll slightly onto your left hip, move that ball out from underneath the thigh. And then with the thighs just touching down to the ground, bend your right knee. Notice how that feels. Release that down. And now we're going to switch to the other side. So roll slightly over onto the right, place that ball underneath the left thigh. See if you can find that middle section and then find that little groove for the ball to kind of settle into. Give a second to let it find its way there. Soften the muscle tissue best you can. Take a nice big breath. Great. And then once you feel like you found it, start to bend and straighten that leg. Slow and mindful, does not need to be a fast maneuver. And then just try to encourage that softness of the muscle tissue even as you move. Beautiful. One more up and down. And then roll slightly onto the right. Move that ball out from underneath you. And then as you come back onto your belly, just to notice, bend that left knee. And then release it back down. Beautiful. Okay, now from here, we're going to push our way up into a tabletop position. Take that ball. You're going to place it behind the back of the thigh and in between the thigh and the calf. So you're going to find a good place for it to get itself positioned, and then hold it in place as you start to set your butt back. And then you might need to readjust. You want to make sure it's getting into the calf and into the back of the thigh as well. So get it into a nice position that feels good to you. Hurts so good is probably the sensation that you might find here. So it shouldn't be any zinging or shooting pain, but it might feel sensational in the muscles. Take a nice big breath, soften through the back of your body. Two more nice big breaths. Awesome. And then when you're ready, lift off nice and slow and controlled. Remove that ball out from underneath. Pause for a moment. Notice how one side feels compared to the other. And then when you're ready, place that ball over onto the other side. See if you can find that same little groove. So you might need to readjust a little bit. And we want to find it in the calf and in the backs of the thighs. So finding that little groove. And then once you're there, draw your butt back to your heels and then soften through the back of the body. Come back to your breath. Nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Take one more breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, lift up nice and slow and controlled. Move that ball out from underneath. And now from here, we're going to swing the legs around. Legs are going to come out in front of us nice and long. And then we're going to move right back into the calf. So you're going to take that ball, placing it a little bit close to where the back of the calf meets the ankle. And then Find a nice settling position so that you can just start to kind of turn the toe. So we're going to drag that ball side to side along the back of the calf. So your toe is going to turn in and then toe is going to turn out, and you're just kind of dragging that ball with you. Beautiful. One more turn each side. And then we're going to move it on up. So move it on up so it's finding the middle of the calf, or that nice thick meaty portion of the calf, and then right back to that toe drag. Turn your toe to one side and then turn it to the other. Nice. And then from this point, when you're in that middle of the calf, see if you can find that middle, and you might feel the ball sink into that little groove. And then once you're there, just take a couple of flex and points of the foot. Awesome. One more flex point of the foot. And then we're going to move it on up. So think top half of the calf or top portion of the calf and come back to that toe drag, turning the toe in and turning the toe out. Nice. One more turn in and out. And then we're going to bend that knee, grab the ball, and now we're going to place the ball. So you're going to locate your shin bone where it gets close to the knee, and your fingers are going to walk in. You're going to find that little indentation on the inside. Once you've found that little indentation, take your ball in your palm. Your other hand is going to anchor the leg, and you're going to push the ball into that little groove and draw some circles. So we're circling in one direction, just using the palm to make those circles go in one direction. And then take that ball, draw it in circles, go the other way. Awesome. And now we're going to move over and across. So locate that shin bone, and then about an inch or so down, so you'll feel that nice thick muscle there on the outer edge. Place the ball there. Again, you're applying pressure with the hand on the ball, but the other hand is going to anchor against the leg. Once you've got that set up, push in, draw some circles in one direction. Beautiful. Push in, draw circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to reset that ball to the other side. So take it down underneath the calf, where about the calf and the ankle are about to meet, into that meaty part of the leg. But now we're going to take that toe drag again. So turn your toe to one side and turn your toe the other way. Awesome. And then when you're ready, we're going to move it on up. So think move it to the middle of the calf, that nice thick part of the calf. Once you've got your way there, back to that toe drag. Turn the toe in and then turn the toe out. Nice. One more drag each side, and then bring it to the middle. See if you can find that little groove where it rests right in the center of the calf. And then once you feel like you found it, point and flex your foot. Awesome. One more point and flex of the foot, and then we're going to move it on up. So up to that upper portion of the calf, and then back to that toe drag, turning it in and turning it out. Beautiful. One more turn in and out. And then lift that leg up, grab your ball to the inside of the shin bone. So find that little groove on the inside of the shin bone, and then your other hand is going to be your ankle, anchor. Press that ball into that groove, draw some circles, go in one direction. Nice. And then draw your circles, go the other way. Cool. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch over to the other side. So find that little muscle that runs right along the outer edge of the shin. Hand is going to be your anchor on the inside, ball in the palm, and then press in, draw some circles, go in one direction. Beautiful. Press in, draw your circles, go the other way. Great. And then when you're ready, lift up and off, send both legs out, wiggle your toes, wiggle your ankles. And now we're going to take it underneath the right glute. So lift your right glute up, place that ball underneath in the middle of your butt, And then you're just going to step that left foot in or the right foot in, whatever leg anchors you better. And then keeping a nice hovering position, you're just going to start to draw some circles with your glute around that ball. Take it in circles in any way that feels good to you. And then you play around. You might choose a little up and down, a little side to side, draw some circles, whatever feels good. If you find any hot spots, any places that are really zinging you, stay off of those places. Maybe you'll move alongside them, work the muscle tissue around them, and then move on to a new space. Cool. And then find the center of your glute. See if you can soften your muscle tissue around it. Send your left leg nice and long. We're going to bend the right knee and then just take some knee drops out. So we're going to keep that ball underneath the right side of your butt, and then the right knee is dropping in and out. Beautiful. One more drop in and out, and then lean off all the way. Take that ball out from underneath, and we're placing it over to the other side. So underneath the left glute, and then you rearrange whichever leg helps you find that hovering position and gives you control. Start to circle around that ball. And then you might choose a little side to side, a little up and down, any little bit of movement here that feels good to you. Great. And then when you're ready, find the middle of your glute. See if you can soften the muscle tissue around it. Send your right leg long, bend your left knee, and then just drop that knee in and out. Awesome. One more in and out. And then lift off, remove that ball out from underneath. And now we're going to find our way down onto our backside. So here's where two balls can come in handy. You can just get a lot more done in one fell swoop. But if you only have one ball, I'll just tell you when to switch so that you're not uneven and just walking around all lopsided today. So come down onto your back. And then once you found your way here, if you're working with two balls, you're going to place them right about above your tailbone. So locate your tailbone, and then about 2 inches apart, or just think where the spine is, walk it outside of the spine. So you might still feel that little bony ridge of your hip bones. So you want to make sure that you put enough control into your body weight so that you're not pushing so hard against the bones that it feels like a bad sensation. But we're going to place the ball in that area and then see if you can just kind of soften your tailbone a little bit. I like to keep my hands there to support just a little bit, so I feel like I'm not sinking too deep in to start. And then once I feel like I've found it, I release my hands and let the muscle tissue soften. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then only if you have two balls. If you're working with just a single ball, in a second, I'm going to tell you to switch over to the other side. But if you're working with two balls and you've got that even balance, then you're going to take little mini pelvic tilts. So it's a smaller maneuver even than, say, you would do in yoga, where you're tilting the pelvis, curling the tailbone up and releasing it down. It's going to be a super small and controlled movement. If you're just working with a single ball, since you'll be a little bit lopsided, leave the pelvic tilt out. And then if you are working with a single ball, just go ahead and lift up, move that ball over to the other side, soften your tissue around, and just stay there. But if you're working with those double balls, take a second to take 1 or 2 more pelvic tilts. Cool. And then let that come to stillness. We're going to push into the feet, lift the hips up, and move the balls up about 2 inches. So we're going to start to work up the length of the spine. So if you're working with a single ball, take it on the right side to start. Keep your hands underneath your back just so that you find that comfort first. Release your tailbone down to the ground. So this is going to start to feel like a little bit of a mini back bend as you work up the vertebrae of the spine. So see if you can just soften the muscle tissue to start. Let your tailbone find the ground. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then if it feels available, you're going to come back to that sensation of pelvic tilt. So a little rocking of the pelvis, tilting the tailbone up, and then releasing it back down. But make sure it's a controlled maneuver. And if it helps, you can always place your hands underneath the back, so you still have that support of the hands without too much pressure on the ball. I've learned to find my way here, so I like to take my hands out once I'm there. But if you feel like that little extra bit of support helps you find it, keep the hands there. If you're working with a single ball, go ahead and move it over to the other side. Soften the muscle tissue. Take a couple nice deep breaths. If you're working with double balls and you're working that pelvic tilt, go ahead and let your tailbone relax down. Take a nice deep breath in. Cool. And then push into your feet. Lift your hips up one last time. We're going to move up a little bit further. So now we're coming into the middle back, but we're way below the shoulder blades. Let your tailbone soften down. Relax the muscles along the spine best you can. And now from here, we're going to work into the arms a little bit. So if you're just working a single ball, if the ball is under the right side, you're just going to take it with the right arm. If you're working with both, you're going to take both arms. So you're going to just inhale and reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring your hands back down alongside your hips. Inhale as you raise your arms up. Exhale as you lower down. One more time here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. If you're working with a single ball, you're going to lift up, move that ball over to the left side, replace it, settle your back onto the balls. Take a nice big breath. And then if you're working double arms, you're going to reach both arms up and overhead. If you're working just on the left, just work the left arm up and overhead. 2 more to go. Inhale as you lift your arms up. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Nice. And then from here, you choose your own adventure. So you might choose to push into your feet and kind of glide yourself up the ball. So that's going to create a little bit of a deep tissue massage, or you're just going to move the ball manually up the spine. If you're working with a single ball, take it back over to the right. And now we're about maybe 2 inches below the shoulder blade area. So we're along the spine, but about 2 inches below the shoulder blades. Once you found your way there, find that softness again. Soften your ribs, soften your shoulder blades, soften your tailbone. And now we're going to take some arm circles. So if you're working with just a single ball, it's just going to be that single right arm circling around. If you're working with 2 balls, arms are going to reach up and overhead, circle them around, arms up and overhead, circle them around. One more time here, arms up and overhead, circle them around. If you're working with a single ball, go ahead and move it over to the left side, get it into place. If you're working with double balls, now we're just going to reverse the direction of our arms. If you're working single ball, you're just going to move your left arm. So if you're working double balls, arms out to the side, and then bring them back around and in. 2 more circles of the arms. Nice. And then when you're ready, you're either going to move manually. So you're going to reach underneath, move those balls up. So now we're going to get up into that shoulder blade area. So we want to stay off of the shoulder blade bones. We're in that little groove where the muscles are along the spine. Once you found your way there, can you soften your head back down? Keep your tailbone soft on the ground. If you're working with a single ball, take it underneath that right shoulder blade to start. And then once you feel like you're here, hands alongside the hips, single arm or double arm, just depending on what you're working with. Inhale, arms are just going to reach up alongside the ears. Exhale, bring the arms back down. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to lower down. And now we're going to bring our arms into I Dream of Jeannie arms, or bring it into a square across the chest. So catch hold of the elbows and then anchor into your feet. And we're just going to pull the elbows gently side to side. So same for if you're just working with single ball or double ball. Take 1 more pull each side. If you're working single ball, now lift off, take that ball, place it over to the other side, and then come back to that crisscross of the arms. Pause just for a second. And then when you're ready, pull the elbows side to side. Nice. 1 more pull the elbows side to side. And then from here, you're either going to glide up the balls, deep tissue massage, or move them manually, whichever works better for you. But now we're going to get up a little higher in the shoulders. Roll yourself on up. If you're working single ball, move it back over to the right side. Place it up a little bit higher up into the shoulders now, and then take it back to those arms reaching up alongside the ears, and then bring them back down alongside the hips. If you're working single ball, just your single arm will do the trick. Awesome. And then when you're ready, release back into your I Dream of Genie arms or that square across the chest. Pull the elbows side to side, anchor into your feet so your hips are staying steady on the ground. Cool. And then if you're working single ball, you're just going to move that ball, pick it up, place it over underneath the left shoulder. And then once you're there, just take an up and down of the arms just to make sure that you even yourself on this side. And then single ball or double ball, whichever the case may be, grab those elbows again and pull your elbows side to side. Great. One more pull of the elbows side to side, and then we're going to take one last glide up the shoulder. So you either push into your feet, lift your butt up, and glide up the ball. So now we're going to come up into that meaty, thick top part of the shoulders, and just make sure the balls feel fairly even, especially if you're working with those double balls. Set your butt back down or move the balls manually, but we're trying to get up into that nice, thick part of the shoulders. Once you've found your way there, for a second, just let your hands come out at your sides, palms facing up. So think anatomical position. Let your head rest on the floor, soften the back of your neck, soften your shoulder heads. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then we're going to take it into some snow angel arms from here. So if you're working single ball, you're just going to work the side that the ball is underneath. If you're working double balls, you're going to move both arms at the same time. Like you're making a snow angel, just sweeping the arms up alongside the ears and then bringing them back down alongside your hips. Beautiful. One more up and down. And then we're going to bring it back into our I Dream of Genie arms. Readjust the balls. If they get out of place, you might want to replace them. But if you feel like you're there, start by pulling the elbows side to side. And then once you feel like you've got that side to side motion pattern down, then you're going to also take them up and down. So as you pull them side to side, you're going to pull the elbows towards the belly button. And then as you pull them side to side, you're going to pull them up towards your forehead. So now we're working a little bit more of a range of motion up and down as well as side to side. Nice. Take one more time up and down. And then when you're ready, just let your hands come back to that anatomical position. Let your shoulders kind of hug around the ball. Let your head find a comfortable place. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Cool. And then from here, lift your head slightly away from the floor. Push into your feet. Arms are going to just cross at the chest. And then if you can, take a couple of glides up and down. I think everybody that's left here has 2 balls. So we're just going to glide up and down those balls with as much control as you can find. If that becomes too much, set your butt down and then maybe just kind of creep your butt along your mat to roll. But if you can keep your butt lifted, take 1 or 2 more rolls up and down. So this is kind of a deep tissue massage into the shoulders. So you just really want to make sure it feels comfortable. And then when you're ready, set your butt down. We're going to move those balls out from underneath the shoulders. And now we're going to place the balls underneath the head. So find that ridge of your skull. Your hands are going to hold onto the ball the whole time. So you're going to place your head onto those balls, finding the ridge of your skull, hold onto the balls, and then just start to find a little turn of the head side to side. Awesome. One more turn of your head side to side. And then lift your head up, release those balls from underneath your head. Pause for a second, let your arms find a cactus or goalpost position, and just take a few turns of your head side to side. Beautiful. One more turn of your head side to side, and then we're going to start to find our way up to a seated position. So you might choose to come up into a crisscross applesauce position, Sukhasana for my yoga friends, but any seat that just allows you to sit tight, nice and tall. And then we want to have access to our jawline. So now we're going to come back to a single ball hold, placing the ball into your palm, and we're going to start to work from the line of the chin up to the ear. So you're going to put a little pressure on, rolling up towards the ear, and then rolling back down. And you can move your hand or you can move your head, whichever gets you there better. The next time you come up to where the jaw meets the ear, find that little groove right along the ear joint, and then see if you can just put a little pressure and draw little tiny circles in one direction. And then little tiny circles go the other way. Beautiful. And now we're going to switch to the other side. And I won't go as far just because of my microphone, but you're going to put a little pressure on, down where the chin is, and then up along the jawline, up to where the jaw meets the ear. Wonderful. Same thing on this side. As you find your way up where the jaw meets the ear, find that little groove and then draw some circles, go in one direction. Draw some circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release. And now we're going to put a little double hand hold. We're going to stack our hands on top of the ball and we're just going to take it across the chest. So think armpit to armpit. That's where we're going for. And we're just going to walk that ball across. You might have to do that little double hand maneuver, but we're going to put a little pressure on as we walk that ball across, armpit to armpit. Nice. And then the next time you come over to the left side, you're going to feel that little groove, like right around where your shoulder is. And then there's that little indentation there. So can you push the ball into that little groove, catch hold of your elbow, and then you're going to hug that elbow in, soften the muscle tissue, take a nice deep breath in, slow breath out. Lovely. And then release over to the other side. Take that ball, find that little groove, push in with the palm, re-grab your elbow, put in as much pressure as you can, and then soften the muscle tissue around. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release, shrug out your shoulders. And you guys, okay, I'm like looking at my watch and I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. My watch has stopped. I stole like 11 minutes of your time. I'm so sorry. I'm like cruising along, like, oh, we've got plenty of time. We'll do this.